Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits. I hope this morning's Zen fits. I'm still working on the phlegm. I can see my voice tightens up when I start to talk, but my steroid and antibiotic cocktail seems to be working, and perhaps someday the phlegm will be gone. So yesterday yesterday we talked about the happy fault or the sand in the oyster, and I ran across this quote yesterday in my reading, and it just stuck in my mind. So I put it up here, and it's the aim of Zen is to see it has no aim. Now that's paradoxical or ironic. Zen is an ironic practice. That's why Zen Buddhism is called the Buddhism with jokes, because it's ironic and it's not logical. So that's why people don't mess with it, because you know, it's like trying to solve puzzles. You know, you might as well just do a crossword puzzle. But life is ironic. And that's why I think the Jewish people realize that. That's why they make good comics. And the ironic is very important to see, because it's a liberating laughter of life. So let's take a look at this statement. And I also posted on this morning, I noticed on my, one of the articles I ran across was that the big Noah's Ark amusement park in, I forgot what state it's in, but they're planning to create more. So it's going to be kind of like a God Disneyland. And I found that to be interesting. It's so that does God want to be in a Disneyland? Does God want to be in a zoo? Does he want to be captured as a thing, as an it? Does he want to be put in a cage? So let's take a look at this from the point of view of our awareness. Now, there are two states of awareness, not states of awareness, but two kinds of awareness, both of which are valid, but they're contradictory. And you can notice this in yourself. Everything I really say here is not for you to just say, well, that's interesting, and go on. I hope that you really check it out in your own mind, in your own life, to see if it has any validity. Because that's, you know, if that's basically what I'm doing here, is inviting you to see for yourself if what I discover has any validity. So I'm sharing my insights and my discovery with you, which is Zen, and with the hope that you will become curious and see for yourself if there is something of value in it for you. So this whole idea of our culture has a particular Western culture, which is in America particularly, is a materialistic, secular, it's not a theocracy, and it is run by the engine of consumerism. Everything our economy makes is for consumption. Basically, health consumption, food consumption, entertainment consumption, news consumption. We're a society of eaters. And if you just boil it all down, what is the one word that is that kind of like the equation, you know, like an algebraic equation, you have A equals A or B, you know, well then you can substitute anything you want for the letter. Well, what is it that is that holds all of the things we consume? We can say it's an it. So it is a fill in the blank. I want it. I want fame, I want respect, I want something inside, something outside, whatever it is, it's an it. But the it doesn't stand alone, there has to be an I. So you have an awareness of it. Now it is So the understood thing here, what's understood is I. You see, I want it. And it is an experience. It's not an it unless you experience it. You see, so basically the basic running consciousness or awareness of our culture, which we believe is just the way things are and should be and will always be and always have been, is that you have I want it. Or I don't want it. Either way, I want it or I want to avoid it, whatever it is. It can be death. But that's the basic equation of this awareness. There's an I, a sense of me, a self, that is outside of it. And I want it, or I want to avoid it. Or it may be neutral and I'm bored with it. So it's either, the it is either pleasurable or unpleasant or boring. That's it. And I want it or I want to avoid it, you see. And that's where we live. So even God is an it. I want God. What do I want? I want God. I want it. I want to experience God. It's an it. So everything gets brought down into this formula. I want or I don't want it. Can you think of anything that doesn't fit that? And then if it is neutral, we're bored with it and we want something else to break the boredom. So then boredom becomes unpleasant, you see. So anyway, if you understand, if you break it down like that, you see. Now, then the other element here is we have awareness, this formula, which is the number one, this is where we live. There's the number two awareness that is equally valuable but not understood. Yet we do it all the time without knowing what we're doing. So this awareness is awareness as experience. See the difference? Awareness of experience is that I'm separate from it. Like this is an it. I see it, I experience it by holding it and seeing it. But I have an experience. Now when I'm using this on here, I'm not aware of this, am I? I'm using this now as the experience of writing. So when I write and talk here, I am the experience. See, in other words, I'm flipping right now. I'm talking about something in it, and we're all looking at what I'm talking about, but the talking, my awareness, is the experience of talking here. I'm not trying to get to talking. I'm not trying to avoid talking here. It's not boring. I'm it. See the difference? I am it. I'm not wanting it. I'm not wanting to talk, or I'm afraid to talk. If I become aware of you watching me, then I become aware of myself as an it for you. And now I may become self-conscious. I may start thinking, oh, am I stupid here? Maybe I'm foolish here. And I begin to doubt. And I begin to lose being the experience. And I begin to experience myself as an it. And that's called stage fright. So, we're always, you see, we're locked into this I want to experience it. But we're only at home when we are the experience. So maybe this is what's going on here. In other words, all right, let's go to entertainment. This was an insight I had today. Entertainment. What is entertainment? Well, hopefully I'm entertaining you. If I'm entertaining you, you are listening to me without thinking of yourself listening to me and looking at your watch. How long is he going to talk? Or if you're listening to me, if you're not listening to me, you are rummaging through your opinions to see what they say about what I'm saying. So, well, I don't think that's stupid. My opinion is that it was this and that, you see. Or where did he get that? Or I don't understand that, you see, and all that. But that's not listening. When you really listen to somebody, you are the person you are listening to. You are the experience of listening. As soon as you start thinking about listening and about the it you're listening to, now you're separate. Now I'm listening to it, you see. But when you're really listening, you are it. See the difference? Now that's entertainment. When we go to a movie, we start out as the movie's an it. Oh, I look up on the thing, I want to go see it. And we sit down in the movie and we talk to another it, and they talk to me as an it, and we talk about it. Or we talk about some other it. So we're always talking about some it. Then the lights go down, the screen opens, our eyes open, and we enter the doorway of the movie. And if it's a good movie, we are no longer watching the movie. The movie is no longer in it. We are in the movie. We become the experience of the movie. Unless somebody punches us and says, you got any popcorn? And now wait a minute, I'm watching a movie. It just flipped us out of the movie, I as the movie, into you're in it. And now I want to get back in there, you see. Or it's a book, or a crossword puzzle. Or a fight in the schoolyard. Anything that's not, some people think that's entertainment. It's entertainment if I remember you go to a school and there's a fight and everybody rushes to it with great joy on their face. They're so happy to be relieved from being in it in the school. So when there's a fight, the fight is like a vortex that draws you in, you see. And you're no longer in it. You are the action. You are the experience, you see. So this entertainment is very general. It can be anything that captures the mind so that you're no longer in it and I wanting an experience. You don't want anything. You are it. Desire stops. Wanting stops when you are it. There's nothing to gain when you are it. When you are the experience, there is no experience to get. You're it. You see the difference? You can really begin to look at life around us. Yesterday I talked about, I guess it was yesterday, yeah. Or the other day I was talking about going to the doctor's office and you go in the holding room and they put you in there and you sit and there's nothing in there. It's a neutral place. Nothing pleasurable to look at, no pictures, no wall, no TV, nothing to entertain you. And it becomes a very distressing place in our culture because we have nothing. It's neutral. It's boring. And we discover the tension in our mind building. I want something. I want it. I want to be entertained. I want something to capture my mind, to want to be entertained by. You see, we can't stand to be neutral. We want to be captured by something that holds my attention and take me out of this misery of being separate from experience, you see. But the amusing thing about our culture is that entertainment is a commodity. And we're sold, we have to buy entertainment that captures the mind. The movies are all about this. And so movies quickly become boring. You go watch Star Trek. Go watch the old Star Trek on TV. Or the old fantasy, old movies where there was no technological wonder. Oh, God. We see through that. It's not exciting. But when a new one comes out, like Avatar or something, Oh, we are captured by it. And this is a great movie, and it's all because we're captured by the movie. We no longer experience the suffering of wanting it, wanting experience. We are the experience. There's no I there to experience anything. We are it. And Avatar beautifully captured this. It was all about wonder. Pandora was wondrous. We never saw it before. Had amazing things, you see. In 3D, draws you into it. And then technology keeps moving in this direction. Now you've got virtual TV, and pretty soon we're going to have our TV sets. It's going to be a little, we won't have it on the wall, you're just going to have it a headset or something, put on a headset, and you're in the TV. You're in the movie. That's where it's all going, you see. So it's all, but you have to pay for that. Isn't that interesting? So basically this experience of awareness as experience, restores our center. This is our home. This is the Garden of Eden. This is where we were before Adam. This is where we were before Adam ate the apple of awareness of. When Adam, this is mythology, it's a metaphor, it's not fact, it's not history, it's a metaphor. So when Adam ate the apple, this was an evolution of consciousness where man became aware of things and could make a tool. I can't make a tool unless I'm aware of something being different from me. If I'm aware as something, I can't make anything out of it because I'm not separate from it and I can't imagine anything better. When you're in the movie, you don't imagine a better movie. Although I do have a friend who comes to the movie, when we show a movie, and she will start talking and criticizing the movie, saying, well, I wouldn't have done that. Well, he shouldn't have done that. Can't he see that that's a stupid thing to do? And I'll say, well, you keep quiet. It's a movie. My steroids and antibiotics haven't quite got rid of the cough yet. So, I hope you can see the distinction between this, where when we are an experience, we are our experience, and we are at one with the world. When you're with a friend, and you are into each other to the degree that you forget everything else around you, you and the friend are one. But as soon as you judge the friend isn't it and you're separate. So judgment throws us back into awareness of an it. You're an it and I judge you whether you're a good or a bad it. You're right, we're kicked out of the garden. That's the Adam mind. This is a good or bad apple. I only want good apples, I don't want the bad one, get rid of that one. You see. But awareness as the apple doesn't judge the apple, it's just an apple. It's not a good or bad apple, it's just an apple. And when you eat the apple, you are the apple. That's in Zen, that's called one taste. It's two tastes if you say, well, I am eating an apple. But when you are the apple is eating you and you're eating the apple. There's no separation. And this is the awareness when we're in entertainment, or in war, or sports, or hunting, or whatever entertainment or occupation we choose that captures our mind. Quilting, I don't care, sex, porn, whatever. That we do that because it captures the mind and brings and restores center and brings us back into ourself as the unity with our own experience. But we keep flipping out, you see. So basically both of these awarenesses are valid because you need this awareness to catch a bus, make a tool, fix the lawnmower, make a cup of coffee, better cup of coffee, if you want or not. Go to the doctor, get some steroids and antibiotics. You need this awareness. But the problem is in our culture, we exclude this awareness, it goes to sleep. We don't realize that it's possible in everyday world. We have to pay for it. We have to go find it. We have to create it. Anger. We create anger in order to capture the mind. The reason we get angry is because we are separated from our experience. We feel isolated. We lose our center. So we restore center by getting angry. When you're angry, you're powerful. You are in your center. I'm angry. It's a power. It's a force. You're not separated from experience. You are the experience of anger, you see. But we don't realize that we use anger to restore center when we get caught in a sense of separation from ourself, from our center. We all know what sense of separation from our center is there's uncertainty, confusion. I don't know which way to go. I don't know which to choose. When I have these martini glasses, my Uncle 500 martini glasses, I give them away to people that come to the house and I connect with. And I'll say, pick one. Oh, there's so many. I can't do it. Maybe there's a couple. And usually the woman will pick one. I like this one. And the man will be like in the hurt locker. Can't make a choice. He's lost his center. He's lost his center. He can't choose. And the wife, seeing his distress, says, well, how about this one, honey? And he says, oh, that's just the right one, thank you. He's been relieved, you see, of the distress of being lost his center. He can't choose. So when we can't choose either this or that, we have a sense of loss of center. So we either get angry or we look for somebody else to save us, you see. And the experience, when we are aware as experience, we are the center. We're not separated from it. The center, I and the center are here. This is what Jesus meant, I think, when he said, I and the Father are one. So he was speaking from this awareness, not from this one. The Father is not an it. I and the it are one. And so the Father, like it, is a metaphor for the whole of reality. The all. So when Jesus says, I and the Father are one, he's saying, I and the universe are one. I and experience are one. I'm not separated from the experience of you. I'm not separate from you. You and I and you are one. I am one with experience of the world, you see. That is a statement from this awareness, not from this awareness. So the point of this is that in spiritual practice, in Zen, in any spiritual tradition, the movement is to discover the limitation of awareness of, which is very practical. It's a tool-making awareness, a survival awareness. You can't do without it. But the primary awareness is from the center, awareness as experience. So when this becomes, in our culture, this is primary, this is secondary, so you have to pay for it. But in true nature, this is primary and this is secondary. This experience, being aware as experience, was the primary, in Buddhism it's called Buddha nature. This was our natural, this is the awareness of all sentient beings. This is the primary awareness of all of nature, all of life. Awareness as. When the cat is aware of you, it's not aware of you as an it, and then it compares you to other its. It is from this experience. It is aware of you as itself. You see, and that's why babies are here. The primary awareness of a baby is awareness as. There is no discrimination between it and the world. There's no separation of it. This gradually grows. So this awareness here grows or evolves out of this primary awareness. So when in Zen, in the Zen koan, when it says, who were you before your parents were born? Well, this is your parents, and this is who you are before this awareness was born. This is the awareness of duality. This is non-duality. Well, this is very popular today. Awareness as experience is non-dual. That's the primary awareness, the ground of our being. You see? And you can say that's God because there is no awareness of God as an it when you are aware as experience. But then this duality rises up out of that, you see. So this is the ground of unity, unity consciousness, mysticism, non-duality. This is always present. This is who we are. This is our true ground, you see. But this awareness is secondary and it rises out of it. And it's dual. It's birth and death. This is what Buddhism calls the karma, birth and death, the pairs of opposites, either or. You can't choose both at the same time. It's either or. It's logical. It's Aristotelian logic. This cup is a cup and it can't be a light. You see. So the language of this awareness is metaphor and art. The language of this awareness is logic and science. Okay. I hope I gave you a little sense of where we're going here, because I really keep coming back to this in all the talks. You know, it keeps coming up in different ways, different metaphors, different examples, but it's all the same thing. But we have to keep looking at it from different directions, because we're looking at a deep, deep conditioning of our civilization. The Western civilization has become a tool-making civilization, and the purpose of Western civilization is to acquire comfort and pleasure, pursuit of happiness, and the avoidance of death and pain. And it's been very successful, but it's reaching its limitations. The success of this awareness has brought us to the global warming and destruction of our environment, you see. So this is awakening. This awareness is awakening. It's coming back. Some call it the mother of awareness, you see. And this is kind of like a patriarchal awareness, the awareness of right and wrong, morality, all of that, you see. So all of these basic, we're trying to get down to the bare ground here in order to understand all the different variations and forms that rise out of it in different conditions. But if you start, boiling away all of the, getting away the trash, you come down to the grains of truth, down to the bare ground, down to the, scrape away all the paint to get down to the bare wood, you see. That's where we want to get. We want to get down to the bare wood and find that in the ground of our being and stand on that and see and understand how we are conditioned by our culture. I'm not saying the culture is bad. There's no good or bad here. It's just the way it is. It's our duty to understand it and see through it and not be deluded by it and not be chasing windmills like Don Quixote, you see. So thank you for dropping in, and I'll see you next time.